Welcome back to this Animal Crossing guitar series. So we're taking a look at phase number 5 today of the prologue music. This is going to be the most challenging phase that we've looked at so far. There's a number of different parts, and there's actually 2 different guitar parts that are layered on top of each other in this track. So it's going to be a little bit more challenging than our previous phases, and it's going to take a little bit more time to get through this, but let's take it as quick as possible and let's jump right into it. Before we do that, make sure that you've gone back and you've checked out the previous phases and you're familiar with them. Also, if you haven't checked me out on Twitch, I'll put the link down in the description below, and link for all the music will also be down in the description. So download that and follow along if you need it. All right, let's jump into it. So we're going to start with the chord section, and then we'll do the melody part afterwards. So chords, we're starting out with our same basic A sus chord that we've heard plenty of times. So starting with 5th string open, and we've got the second finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string on our left hand. And we're back to that skipping rhythm. Unlike phase 4, it's got that skipping rhythm again. And then we go over to the 2nd fret on the 4th string. And now here, we're actually going to be switching over to a D major chord. If you aren't familiar with this chord, we've got our 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, our 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and our 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the 1st string. So it should sound something like this when we play them each separately. Okay. And now for the next chord, it's going to be just like this one, except what we need to do is we need to also play this E, 2nd fret on the 4th string. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump this finger over to that note, and we're going to kind of flatten it out so that we're going to be able to play both the 4th string and 3rd string 2nd fret at the same time. It should sound like this. So we're using a little bit of pressure in this kind of joint here. It's kind of flattening out a little bit, so that I can actually play both those strings at the same time. And then we follow that up by 2 short bursts on the top 3 strings using our first 3 fingers here. So this is the very first section. Let's play it one more time. So that's open 5th, 2nd fret of the 4th string, open 4th string, making that D chord, and then we bar for 2nd fret on the 4th string, and then the top 2 little bursts there. Next up, we're going back to our basic, and then we have the first finger on that 2nd fret of the 4th string, and then we have open 4th string, and we leave out our thumb. Alright, so this is the second little part here. So let me do those 2 together, and you can check, make sure that everything is working. So here we go. Alright, so that is our first couple sections. Next, we switch over to a new chord that we have here. So we're going to use our 1st finger, 2nd fret of the low 6th string, with this F sharp here. And then we're going to use our 2nd finger, 2nd fret of the 4th string on the E, and then our 3rd finger on the 2nd fret as well. So all these fingers are all in the 2nd fret, and we're just skipping over the 5th string. We're not going to be playing that one. And then for this hand, instead of grabbing the top 3 strings, we're actually going to move those all down. So it's grabbing the 6th string, 4th string, 3rd string, 2nd string. So we should have something like this. Next up, we're going to keep our 3rd finger where it is, and we're going to have to move things around a little bit. So 2nd finger is going to go on the 2nd fret of the 5th string, 1st finger, 1st fret of the 4th string. This 3rd finger is, again, staying where it is on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. And our 4th finger, our pinky finger, is going to be grabbing the 2nd fret of the 2nd string. Should sound something like this. Okay. And then we jump over to that D chord again. And now we switch it over to a D minor chord. So we're going to be using our 2nd finger on the 3rd string, 2nd fret, sorry. And our 1st finger on the 1st fret of the 1st string. Should sound something like that, but instead of kind of arpeggiating it, breaking up those notes, we're going to play it all together. So those 4 strings at the same time, and then the top 3 one more time, and then we go back to our starting A sus chord. So that thumb jumps back over to the 5th string. And we play those top 3 strings one more time. All right, let me run through this section one more time, because there's a lot here. There's a lot going on. But if you need to rewind and go check the video one more time, feel free to do that. All right, one more time. So that's all together what it should sound like. All right, and for the final section for the chords, we're going to be grabbing, again, 2nd fret on the 3rd string, and we're going to be using the low 6th string on this one. Leave out the thumb, and now it's going to be kind of like our D minor chord, except we're not going to be using our 1st finger here. So we just have these 2 notes being fretted, and then we have an open high E string. And that's with the A bass, which is the 5th string. And then we grab those top 3 strings one more time. And now what we're going to do is you're going to remove your 3rd finger, and you're going to add your 1st finger onto the 2nd fret of the 4th string. So it should sound like this. Those are all the notes there. But we're playing it as a block, all at once, like this. Okay. Next up, these are going to be some of the most challenging chords here. We're going to be grabbing these minor 7 shapes. So these ones are going to be what are called bar chords. If you need some help on bar chords, let me know. I can make a video about that if you'd like. But essentially what you're going to do is you're going to use your 1st finger and you're going to lay it across the first 5 strings. So all of them except for the 6th string, which will give you something like this, if you're able to do it nice and evenly. So that is 5 different notes coming out of just 1 finger, laying across all of those. But that's not all. We actually need to add in our 3rd finger onto the 4th fret of the 4th string, and our 2nd finger onto the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. So if I were to play the top 5 strings all together, we get something like this. Okay, we're not going to do that. We're not going to use all of them. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to just play the inside 4 strings. So for our right hand, you're going to be on the 5th, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings. Okay, so we get something like this. Okay. And now with our left hand, we're going to use the exact same shape, and you're just going to slide it over 2 frets, play all those notes together, and slide it over one more time, like this. So that part together, something like this. Okay? And then we go back to our 1st position. We're going to use our 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and we're going to bar, and again using a little bit of a bar, using our index finger to grab multiple strings. Both of those on the 1st fret for the 2nd string and 1st string. And then remove that bar. We're going to use the 6th string here. And then one more time we're going to grab the top 3 strings there. Okay, that's a lot. And then there's also one final section, which is actually something we played a little bit earlier. You might remember. So it's going to be something like this. So open 5th string, and then we have 2nd fret on the 4th string, open 4th string, and then we leave out the thumb. And that's how the song ends. So let me do this very last back half here. So starting on the open 6th string. Now here comes our bar chords. And that's our point of repeat. All right, so as I was mentioning earlier, this one is quite a bit more complicated, but hopefully everything there makes sense. If you need any other help with it, take a look at the music. There's a sheet music and tab down in the description. All right, so as for the chords, there's also another guitar part, as I was mentioning, which is going to be a melody guitar part. So let's take a look at this one. So for this one, what we're going to use is our second finger. We're going to grab the third string, and what we need to do is we need to use a slide, and we're sliding into the 6th fret. It should sound like this. And at the same time, you're going to use your thumb on the 5th string, and we want to slide in. It doesn't really matter where exactly you start. I think I usually like to start around the 4th fret or so. So you get something like this. We slide into the 6th fret. So we're grabbing that with our thumb and index finger on the 5th string and 3rd string. Maybe something like that. And then we're going to use our first finger to grab the 5th fret of the 2nd string. And I use a middle finger on my right hand to grab that. So the first chunk is like this. And you're going to stop everything. So I'm muting that by using these other 2 fingers to stop the strings. And I'm also going to touch the strings again with my right hand so that it really cuts the sound. Something like that. And then the next one we're going to do is we're going to use our middle finger to grab the 2nd fret of the 4th string, and we're going to use our first finger to slide into the 2nd fret on the 1st string, like that. And then we let go of our first finger, and we have an open E string. And again, we're going to stop everything. Okay, and then we're going to do an open D string, same slide as before, and then we're going to grab the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, again stop everything. And now here, first finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, it does a pull off. So the idea here is that you're going to play the note, and then with your left hand, without using your right hand, you're actually going to pluck the string using your left hand, like this. So if you take a look at my right hand, it only did one note here, and then everything else is triggered with the left hand. So we have 1st fret to the open B string, and then we have the 2nd fret on the 3rd string 2 times. So we get this. Okay, so this is the first section of the melody. Let me try this all together. So there's the first section of the melody. Now, for the next section of the melody, what we're going to do is we're going to grab the 2nd fret of the 6th string, and then we're going to slide into the 2nd fret on the 2nd string, like this. And then we have an open high E string. Again, stop everything right after. And then what we're going to do is you're going to use your 2nd finger, jump over to the 5th string, and do the same type of slide. And use your 3rd. It gets kind of squishy here with our fingers. You can see they're kind of squished in together, but it's not too bad. And the third finger is grabbing the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Again, stop everything. And then we can use our 1st finger and an open 4th string to slide into the 2nd fret. And we're going to use the 2nd fret of the 3rd string again. And now, just like before, we're going to have this pull off 1st fret to the open 2nd string, and then the 2nd fret of the G string. Alright, so part 2 of the melody. Let me try that out. Cool. Alright, which leaves us with one more melody section. So let's try this part out. So for this one, what we're going to do is we're going to use our 4th finger, our little pinky finger, on the 7th fret of the high E string. And we're going to grab the low 6th string with our thumb and play those two together, like that. And now what you want to do is, as you're kind of holding those, you can kind of hover over these next set of notes. So we're going to use our first finger on the 5th fret of the 1st string, and we're going to use our 3rd finger to grab the 7th fret of the 4th string. So those two together, like this. And now we take this shape and we shift it up 3 frets. So it should be going from the 7th and 5th up to the 11th and 9th. So we're skipping over 3 frets there. So we're kind of shifting up 4 frets. And then we shift right back. So that part sounds like this. And then 2nd fret of the B string, the 2nd string, open E string, and then 2nd fret on this 1st string, like this. And now we're going to have a melody that's almost completely on the 1st string. So for this one, we're going to use the frets 0, 2, 4, 5. And I like to grab that with, it's going to be open, 1st finger, 3rd finger, 4th finger. And now we slide this pinky down to the 1st fret. And now here's a little bit of a complicated technique, is we're going to use we're going to grab the open string, and we have to hammer on. So we're going to snap that finger onto the string and then pull off right away, like this. And then the last note, 3rd fret of the 2nd string. Okay, so let me try this whole last section of the melody all together. And that's all there is to it. Again, there's a lot going on with this one. This is definitely the most complicated of the phases that we've seen so far. So if you are finding it a little bit challenging, it's going to take a little bit more time to get this one under your fingers. But if you do have any comments or questions, throw them down in the description, or not description, the comments. Throw them down in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe, share it around. I really do appreciate all the support. Once again, I live stream on Twitch. Link will be down in the description, as well as the notation for all the music. And I hope to see you guys in the next video for Phase 6. Catch you later. See you guys.